Basically, I was greeting you, giving you my name. I'm the principal chief Ragawane of the Kafir band of Skarure and Woccon Indians. Yekwere wadase ekwewe uneche wa de gera. We thank you for the people. Yekwere wadase ene ufne uneche wa de gera. We thank Earth Mother. Uneche wa de gera. Now we have one mind.
Part two. So I wanted to get on here real quick to talk about my experience being down in North Carolina and being around my tribe and the whole Skarure Woccon harvest gathering. And like I said in my last video, everything was just so eye-opening. First of all, I've learned that a lot of them learned how to swim with gators. Okay, I just want to get that out the way. I am from up north. We don't have gators. So going down there and just hearing stories about them saying like, oh yeah, you know, we swim in the lakes with the gators, learn that like at camp and stuff like that, and they don't really bother you. They just stay on the other side, but just don't go around them during mating season and blah 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 blah. And I'm just like, what? But overall, my whole experience down there was just so eye-opening. And to see a lot of distant relatives just coming back together and just celebrating being where we're from, it's just very, besides shocking and eye-opening, it's just something that you don't see every day or put yourself in every day. So yeah. There was so many things that happened being down in North Carolina. I don't think I'm gonna be able to talk about it a lot on here because I don't want to make this video too long. But one of the things I wanted to talk about was this lady who got up and spoke. I didn't record because to me, I felt like it was going to be rude to record this, but she was talking about the indigenous women who are being kidnapped and never found again. And she says something so interesting because I was feeling like this for a long time, but I didn't want to come out and talk about it because I don't know. I just felt like I would come off as, I don't know, prejudice or something like that. But she was saying how it's hard to find them because a lot of them, like in the Lakota, I think she's part Lakota too, but she was speaking about the Lakota women that are getting like kidnapped and stuff like that. When it's time to search for them, they're getting identified as Puerto Rican or something because a lot of people, they they get misidentified as like being Puerto Rican or Mexican. And me growing up, and even still to this day, I always get mistaken as Latina. And even though there's some of that, who's coming? I just got sidetracked. My friend was over here for hours and it's now nighttime, so I'm going to try to speed up this video a bit. But what I was talking about was this lady that was speaking. She was talking about some of these indigenous women when they go missing, they often get times identified as Puerto Rican or something like that, and it's hard to know who is who when they're searching for their indigenous relative. And me growing up, even to this day, I always get labeled as Latina. Like people who know me, friends, whatever, they always like identify me as like as a Latino or whatever, but I'm mixed. Like I may have that in my ancestry, but overall I'm mixed. And you know, at first I used to, you know, when I first used to hear people referring to me as Dominican or something, I'll be like, oh, you know, okay, all right. But now it's just like I just give the most straightest face when people just try to, you know, talk to me in Spanish or just try to like merge me into a group that I can't relate to. Like the culture is different, and therefore I don't really like being called Latina, even though some people might, consider that a compliment. Sure, but I don't prefer it. Like, call me what I am. I'm mixed. Like, I'm not that. And God forbid if I end up going missing and they're like identify me as a Latina woman. It's just like, but anyway. So when she was saying all that, I was just like, wow. Like, I thought it was just me who might, be frustrated here and there whenever I get referred to as like Spanish or whatever. But it's really like it could really be not much of a good thing, especially if you have an indigenous woman ended up missing and they're not getting identified correctly. So that was interesting, listening to her. And she knows of people who've gone missing. So she was crying during this. So therefore I did not want to record it. It was too sad, and not everything is meant to be put out online, but that message is pretty strong. Another thing I want to point out too, and I don't know if this is the smartest move to make, and even though some people like the chief, hi chief, uh speak about, not getting into any arguments online, because people just live to debate all day and love to be right and this and that, and stay out of these argumental stuff online. I find it really interesting because where I'm from, there's like several tribes in the area. So you have the Skarure, Woccon, Cape Fear Indians, the tribe that I'm a part of, and then in the same area you have the Waccamaw Suans, and I have ancestors who are buried in some of those areas where that tribe is. The whole Waccamaw Lake, like I have ancestors who are buried in those places and grew up in those places and been there for like generations. And then you have the Lumbees and so on and so forth. And it's so weird how not all the tribes, but some of the tribes try to, like, they want to continue to be separated, and they don't want to recognize some people as their family members or stuff like that. Particularly the Lumbees, they different. And there was one lady that was at the harvest gathering. She's a part of the Waccamaw Siouan tribe. I hope I'm pronouncing it right. And she was, the way she embraced us all, like we're all kin folks, we're all family. I was just like, this is all like relatively new to me, and I haven't asked any questions about that yet, but I am curious of why. Like, I hear stories, I hear some talking points, but I'm still curious of why certain tribes, like the Lumbees, don't want to recognize other tribes as like we're all family, and they want to be. It's kind of like certain tribes like them want to be the tribe, like we are the real indigenous people or mixed with it, and all these other tribes is like, we don't acknowledge y'all. And even though there's some people in this tribe that have cousins that are in like the Lumbee tribe and stuff like that, but it's just like, it's such a disconnect, and it's just, I don't know, like I can't even wrap my head around this whole talking point. That's why I kind of sound like I'm talking gibberish right now, but it's just like, it just doesn't make any sense to me at all.
In Columbus and Bladen County, North Carolina. And it is an honor to be here today to represent my brother and sister tribe, the Cape Fear Indians. So I want to give a most sincere and heartfelt thank you to Chief LaBelle Eagle Elk. So I got to tell you the truth. We're childhood friends. He used to eat at my mother's restaurant. His grandmother and grandfather had the gift and the talent of seeds and gardening. And they were the ones that gave everybody seeds and plants. And his grandfather would hang the gourds for the birds and would bring all of the mothers the kushas for us to eat and to make pies and to celebrate. Oh, and the other thing is that he's my cousin. So I had all these wonderful things that I wanted to say today, and I brought page after page, and I looked and I studied and everything, but I want my words to be brief, and I'm not even going to use my speech. We are kinfolk.
That's right.
We are kinfolk.
That's right. Kinfolk.
I'm going to say it one more time. Somebody need to be happy about it. We are kinfolk. Look, I want you to stop. Anybody who's in this area, stop and look around you. What do you see? Tell me what you see. I'm going to tell you what I see.
Humans. Family. Love.
I see stories.
That's right.
Stories are so important to all people that has been passed down since the beginning. Since the Creator created, there has been a story. The flesh leaves, the spirit leaves, and the story stays. What is your story? Look around you. When you see someone, are you seeing the story? When I meet someone, I am fascinated about the story they have to tell and they have to share. So I am Storm Cloud. The storm cloud is not necessarily a bad thing. We move things around so that new life.
Yeah, I'm definitely even more proud of where I came from, and I have a better understanding of why my family were the way they were and why they chose to move up to New York and stuff like that. Um, but yes, I'm very proud of where I came from, and I'm even getting used to saying my tribal name. Like when I was down there, I never used to say my tribal name because I used to think it was so, you know, you gotta get used to certain like cultural things. And I don't know how to pronounce my tribal name just yet, but in the English word, my name is Dancing Bear. And when I would tell people my tribal name, they were all like, "Oh, that's a real pretty name. I like the name, blah, blah, blah." So I guess that made me more confident in saying my name out loud. But at first, I thought it was silly. And the reason why my name is Dancing Bear is because Dancing, uh, the chief saw, like, he sees how serious I am about fitness and stuff like that. So that's where the dancing comes from. And then the bear part is just my caring nature. So therefore, my tribal name is Dancing Bear. But I even, like, that's why my tattoo, I got like the wolf claw tatted at the top of the arrow that I got tatted on my back. I got it tatted at the top because that's my spirit animal, my birth animal, and therefore I got it near the feather because it's like higher spirit, right? And then at the bottom, I got the bear claw because that's my caring nature and that's the sharpest point of the arrow. So therefore, don't come for me and mine because I will come for you, period. But yeah, that's why I got a tattoo on my back. Matter of fact, for those who didn't see my tattoo video, I'm gonna show it for y'all real quick right now. Overall, though, I had an amazing time down in North Carolina, and to see everyone just coming together and embracing one another and meeting like distant relatives and hearing these last names that all sound familiar, it's just like it, I, like I said, it was shocking and eye-opening, and how nice everybody was. It was so weird. There, at one point, there was this lady. I'm rambling at this point, but at one point there was this lady who she needed to open something, so she had to go to her car and get some like scissor or something. And I reached into my purse. I was like, "Oh, I got something for you." I reached into my purse and I pulled out, something that was sharp. And it was so funny because she looked at me and she was like, "Okay, New York, all right, I see you." And I started laughing because I'm like, "Y'all don't carry these things in y'all purses around here?" Like, it's just too good to be true, because up north is like, you need to at least carry something, especially nowadays. And I keep telling people I'm a thug, so I don't know. But overall, it was such a great experience, and I think over time, more and more people will wake up and start doing research and finding um, their indigenous relatives. And I hope it keeps going like this because I see this community expanding and expanding. Although there is some colorism drama in this community that needs to be that needs to go out the door. Like, we don't got time for that in this community. There's other things that we need to work on and grow and build. Leave that colorism shit like out the door. Period.